We are live. Sorry, folks, if you're noticing the pink hue, I'll explain that in just a minute. Nathan is going to go get some water, and he'll be right back. I thought in advance I'd get some water, so I'm set. Yeah. So real quick, thank you for joining us. If you're here, we're trying this StreamYard thing. I think we got about 4 people tuning in. Other people should be joining soon. I know there's a lot on our Discord server that said they were going to be watching, but we just wanted to come in and give a Halloween special live stream here. I am pink because I am filming with a full spectrum camera. If you guys don't know, I really do paranormal investigations, or I did prior to COVID-19, and I was really getting into it. I have a bunch of equipment and stuff, and yeah, it's just one of those things that I wanted to play around with today on the live stream. Hey Nathan, you got your water?
I do. Now I can talk, maybe.
Yeah. So what's really cool about this camera I've got here, the full spectrum camera, is I found a tutorial to convert those little action cams on YouTube. And I've done this I have 3 different cameras that I can use for this. I'm totally geeked out about this stuff. But I figured if I pan my camera this way, I have had, that's the doorway kind of entrance to the bathroom area, and then the actual shower and toilet and all that is around another doorway. But everyone's saying you're pink, Jeremy. But I, throughout the last few weeks, have had a bunch of noises happening there. When I sleep at night, one of them I could have swore my closet door opened. So I figured, you know what, why not just keep a full spectrum camera on during our live stream? Maybe we'll get lucky and capture something, and then it'll be caught in infamy on YouTube. So yeah, everyone's saying you're pink. Is it that distracting? I could probably switch cameras if it's really distracting. Why don't you vote? Say switch cameras or don't switch cameras in the chat. And if we get a bunch of people saying switch, then I'll switch it over. You just got to see my bedroom. I didn't put my background up today. So I thought we'd kind of start with a quick recap for the year. You all know we joined the Rusty Quill Network. That was back in May when we started season 3. People are saying don't switch, it's cute. It is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, right? So maybe we'll leave it for that. Yeah, we joined Rusty Quill Network. We started a Patreon campaign right around the same time. For those of you that don't know, we launched our Discord channel too. We actually published our first book last week. If you're not following us on social media, you may not be aware of that. It's on Amazon. It's called The Storage Papers Volume 1, and it consists of adapted versions of the first 2 seasons of the podcast on, in prose and in a novel format. Other things we've done, and this is more recently, we held our first writing competition. I'm going to speak a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And we've made a ton of new friends who basically share our passion for storytelling and horror. You're going to learn, who some of those friends are in the upcoming week here. Nathan, am I forgetting anything? I feel like we had a lot of milestones this year. It's been a crazy road.
Yeah. I think that was probably the bulk. We have a merch store now.
Yes.
That too. We've hit download milestones, I feel like, left and right this year that had no idea we'd be able to ever make.
Yeah, we are quickly approaching the 1 million download mark, which, that's largely due to the Rusty Quill Network partnership that we have going on. I think we're it was around 300,000 before we started season 3, and we're close to 1 million now. I'm pretty sure by by November we might be around the 1 million mark, but we'll see. At some point, like, you get to shows that are just gigantic, like Magnus and Old Gods, and they're like in the multiple millions. Sometimes I think Magnus, what did they say, 2 million a week or something like that at one point?
Yeah, something like that. Crazy.
Insane. Yeah, so lots of cool milestones. We do have some exciting things coming up this week that we really want to talk about. In addition to our regular content, those of us those of you who are on Patreon know that we put out, the normal episode. Normally they come out on Tuesdays. That's out today already, ad-free, and early for our patrons that we call curators. And then Tuesday, that regular plot episode will be coming out. So we do have a lot of content coming out this week. I think it's been so much work for several months now. It seems like we've done some cool things. I can't tell you everything, and that's the part that's just like, oh, it's it's really digging into me here. But I can give you some hints, but most of it I can tell you about. So I do want to let you know that we do have 3, maybe 4. We're still potentially working on the 4th bonus Halloween episodes. Those will be coming out this week. What we do is every year on Halloween, we ask our listeners, usually on social media. I think we put it out on Facebook and Discord, to give us some single word writing prompts. And we each write a story. Me, Nathan, and Cody, who's not here today, typically write one story for each of those prompts. We pick the top 3 this year, potentially 4, and we create a story, just a Halloween specific story that doesn't relate to the plot. It's just bonus content for you guys. So I'm really excited about these because I kind of feel like every year we kind of one up ourselves. We set the bar a little higher, and I think these are going to be very enjoyable for you. So I'll tell you what the prompts were a little bit later in the stream, but it's going to be fun. I will say some of the I want to say audio effects or maybe the content warnings should be looked at for at least 1 or 2 of these. It's going to be pretty intense. We got a little criticism for our cat lady episode early on for not having content warnings. And for those of you who don't know, we put content warnings and transcripts out on our website. The content warnings are also on our show notes every episode. So we'll have that there. Just be warned. There's some gushiness or squishiness or squelching, maybe. I forget how the how the files were described, but some pretty intense audio effects, which I love. It's just so much fun to put that stuff out. Let's see what else. Yeah, we selected those prompts. We are also doing a couple different collaborative things this year for Halloween. I don't know why, but I think I'm torn between being more excited for those than our own content. I feel like I'm equally excited, but
it's like it's kind of a different feeling because we're working with other people and it's this whole collaborative environment, and it's really cool.
Exactly. And all these people are putting out really high quality content. So to be able to come together, just partner with people, kind of compare your work almost, but also collaborate and create a final product that everyone's contributed to. It's super cool. We've kind of hinted on social about the 9 to midnight. That is going to be October 29th. I don't know. Can you hear my dog barking in the background, Nathan? Well, yep. She was when I was talking. Yeah.
Just for a sec.
Yeah. Just so you guys know what I deal with, this freaking dog nonstop. A leaf falls outside and she barks. So I apologize if you're going to hear that. I can't edit out live, unfortunately. 9 to midnight is the show, and it's going to include us. It's going to also include stories from Nowhere on Air, Hell City Companion, Woe Begone, The Town Whispers, another Rusty Quill partner, Wake of Corrosion, Malevolent, The Cellar Letters, and the Dead Letter Office of Somewhere, Ohio. So we are very stoked about this. I'm not going to give too many details away. You can look at our socials. We've got a little teaser clip on there, and we may put another clip out there before it goes live. But that's going to be really fun. The episode ended up being like an hour and a half or something like that.
Yeah, I think if I remember right, like an hour 40 movie length.
Yes. Lots of great content there. And, I just want to say, those guys, I've listened to all of their podcasts. I'm not caught up on every one of them, but from what I've heard, on their podcast and this episode, the quality is just outstanding. I mean, I feel like I feel like a novice sometimes compared to some of these guys where they're getting these effects and, ambience and things like that just really kind of make it creepy. I would suggest to use headphones anytime you listen to horror stuff. I'm just going to throw that out there.
In the dark with your eyes closed, preferably.
Right. Well, the guys from Malevolent just put out, what was it called? Seance. Yep. It's like a 16, 17 minute standalone episode. That was fantastic. I've retweeted that. Excellent sound effects in that. So kudos to them on launching that. We do have one other collaborative work that's going to be coming out. They just announced this morning, and it kind of worked in our favor because I wasn't going to be able to say anything about it until they kind of went live with it. But the project was by the Escape Artists. I think they said it's their first audio drama. It's going to be going live October 31st, right at midnight. So that means Saturday into Sunday midnight. It's called The Witching Hour, and basically it's an alternate pseudopod. It's their first audio drama. It features stories from huge podcasts, Creepy Pod, the Magnus Archives. If you're not a fan of those, I don't know, why you'd be here. Neighborly, Nightlight, The Secret of St. Kilda, Unwell, I think is another one, and then us. So that one I've had a little less I guess knowings on about what's going on behind the scenes. I don't know how long it's going to be, but I'm pretty sure it's just going to be amazing. I know the stuff we submitted was super cool. I have not yet heard the other submissions though, so I'm excited. I'm going to be tuning into that as well. Lots of collabs, yes. Dana Mao. Am I pronouncing that right? I hope I am. But yeah, it's just going to be a huge week. So we're going to have, Tuesday's our regularly scheduled episode. Monday, tomorrow, is going to be our first bonus episode. And then we have something Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, potentially Saturday, and then the collaborative work on Sunday. They said an hour for Witching Hour, Hermit Chop says. That's still awesome. Oh, wait, that's built in. I don't know. It's built into the name. We'll see. I don't know. But there's just like between all of these collaborations, I mean, that's what, like 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, like 16 different shows creating 2 kind of separate podcasts specifically for Halloween. So I'm really stoked about it. I think it's going to be super cool. So yeah, check our socials. I would recommend checking daily every week. If you're not subscribed, it'll just populate in your feed if you are. So you're going to have plenty of stuff to listen to this week. Halloween's just the best time for horror stuff. Wanted to give a quick update. I know some people have ordered autographed copies of the book. I'm still waiting to receive them at my house. I know if you bought it off Amazon, some people receive theirs almost within like a day or two, I think. Which is really awesome. Yeah, but they're telling me November 2nd to 3rd is when I should receive them at my house. So I will, as soon as I get those, I'll post an update on socials. Take a picture or something to show you the books, and then I'll start signing those and getting those out to you ASAP. Should we move on to the writing prompt winners?
Yeah, let's do that.
And guys, if you have questions for us at all, this is really informal. There's not too many people here. It's not like a Twitch stream for Rusty Quill or anything. You just type in questions in the chat. One of us will get to them, and feel free to do that anytime. I figured for the writing prompt winners, I put some runner-ups that I thought were kind of cool, but didn't necessarily take the prize. And this is for the Halloween episode writing prompts. The first one was dang, simply dang. I thought that was a funny runner-up. Second runner-up was scallywag. And for me, I'm sitting there thinking of these, like, how do I write a horror story with this? I mean, I immediately go to pirates, but I just couldn't think of something.
Pirates of San Diego.
The Pirates of San Diego, yeah. And then the last runner-up I thought I'd mention is your mom. Now that was immediately disqualified because it was 2 words. We asked for single word prompts. So if you put that one, I'm sorry, you're disqualified. The winners that we picked, somebody put masks, though I did change that to a singular version, mask. So one of the episodes coming out this week is going to be called Mask. The second one is Embrace. Oh, and I should mention, I wrote the one called Mask. Nathan here wrote Embrace, which is excellent. I just finished producing that yesterday. Both of those, actually. And then the last one I'm going to share right now is Depraved. I wrote that one, and that one should be coming out tomorrow. But I'm still waiting. We have a potentially fourth selected. It's just going to depend on availability and time if I can get that squeezed in. If I can, it'll probably come out a little closer to Halloween because I need a little time to produce that.
Real quick, I just want to mention, because he's not going to toot his own horn as much, but definitely keep your ear out for Depraved coming out. I think this is one of the creepiest from start to finish that you've done so far, Jeremy.
Well, thank you. That's a huge compliment coming from you, sir. I know it's I don't know. I'm really proud of this one for some reason. I really got in there, I had I had a whiskey, and then I started mixing, and I was like,
that's how you got through that so fast.
Yeah, maybe I should drink regularly when I start mixing these episodes.
No lie, he picked that one, and then if I recall right, you, like, within a few hours you had the story written.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I saw it. Like, we look at this list of words. Anytime we ask for those prompts, we put them on a spreadsheet, or just kind of, we look at them all together. For some reason, it was like, in my mind, everything was blacked out on that page except for the word depraved. And I was like, I gotta pick that one. I already had an idea in my head about it, and immediately started writing for it as soon as I got there. So if you're, I think it hits all genres of horror, except for, like, I didn't want to go the religious horror route, the possession and all that stuff, but it hits on a lot of different other genres. Yeah, I'm going to stop talking about it because I want you to be surprised. It's going to come out tomorrow. The other thing I wanted to talk about was a couple things about the writing competition. I want to let you know about the criteria that we're judging those on. If you weren't aware, we had a writing competition. Entries were due October 15th. We are in the process of reviewing and scoring all of those entries right now. And the winners are going to be given, full production of those episodes on season 4 of the Storage Papers. So super cool to see what listeners and writers and I'm assuming anybody who's submitted probably listens to the show. I recognized most, if not all, of the names there. But yeah, I'm super excited to see how that turns out. And I've probably read half of them myself. I need to really dig in. I might reread them before I score them, but I know that one of the judges has already submitted their scores. And I wanted to also let you know who the judges were. Obviously, there was me and Nathan, and we had a surprise judge, and that is Rat Grimes of the Dead Letter office of Somewhere, Ohio. So if you're not familiar with their show yet, I would definitely check it out. They're one of the collaborators on the 9 to Midnight show. It's a solo horror comedy fiction podcast set within one of the last remaining Dead Letter offices in the country. This is kind of a promo for them. I told them I'd give them props on here. Their characters, Conway, Ren, and a few others, I guess, they have kind of like a archive of strange, spooky, surreal pieces of lost mail that they go through. Again, I have, that's one of the shows where I've listened to like a couple episodes. I need to catch up. I think it's been so crazy. We've been producing so much content. I am so behind on my podcast episodes. I don't get to listen anymore unless I drive somewhere, which is really rare. Used to I'd probably do 10 hours a week of podcast listening. Now it's like I'm working from home. I'm probably commuting one day every 2 weeks, and I'm just super behind. So maybe when my dog starts barking again, I'll just put in headphones and catch up. So we're still in a judging process. Rat Grimes outdid us both in our own contest by submitting his scores first. And we're gonna be going through those this weekend, and throughout the week we will announce the winners a little later in the week on one of our Halloween bonus episodes. The scoring is basically being judged with 4 different criteria. Originality, which is freshness of imagination, creativity, and individuality. We're scoring on plot structure, meaning enough info is provided to understand the story. Sequence of events, dialogue, and emotional movements are well crafted. Then we've got characterization. There's got to be relatability to characters. You're able to hold the reader's attention. Actions and interactions are consistent and relates who the characters are. And then last but not least, we have quality of writing. Organization is logical and effective. Sentence fluency is smooth and expressive. So what we're doing is I'm a spreadsheet nerd. I created a spreadsheet to score on a 1 to 10 point scale system for each story. Each judge will tally up all their points for each story based on each category. And then once all 3 have done that, we will combine the totals and pick the top 3 scoring stories from there to be produced next season. So that's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that a lot. But oh man, I said a lot, didn't I? I think that's it with our announcements. I feel like I've been talking so much this week. It's mostly recording though, and you're not going to hear that yet. Uh-oh. Excel gang represent.
Yeah.
Did I miss anything, Nathan? I feel like I got everything, but
yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the bulk. I mean, it was a lot. The next week is just going to be jam packed with content. It's going to be great.
Yeah. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram at Storage Papers. We've got our Facebook group. We've got Discord. I mean, there's just literally, several great ways to communicate with us. I'm looking at Discord right now. I did have one question from someone on Discord. That was Anna. And she asks, what was your favorite episode to do from start to finish? And what were some of the challenges you encountered? Do you want to answer that one first, Nathan, or you want me to jump in?
I'll have to think about that for a sec. For ones that have already come out, yeah, I'll have to think about that for a sec. Give me a sec.
I honestly, I think there's two that come to mind. Well, gosh, they're like your children. How do you pick? Maybe three. So, all right. So the first one I want to, and we pick the rules, right? I mean, this is our stream, so we can pick more than one. I'm gonna say first was probably the Ice Cream Man one. That one was just so cool to write because I thought that having this character that nobody ever really sees be the villain, and how the effects of that individual or being around, I don't know, I just thought it was a super cool thing. Like you don't ever see or hear from them. There's a lot of assumption being made, that it affects kids only. That was creepy enough. And then the speaking through the children, I thought was crazy. I actually, I didn't know anybody that would record those lines for me. I went to Reddit. There's a subreddit called Record This for Free. And I posted an announcement. And this was early on before anybody really knew the show. But I posted an announcement on there saying, hey, I've got this line. I need 1 to 2 children ages 5 to 10 to record a single line. And it was like, the Ice Cream Man's here. I need to go, or something like that. So I just thought it was fun, getting other collaborators in there. And this one guy, he says, oh, I've got an 8-year-old daughter she loves horror, and we'd love if you just send us a link to the episode when we're done. So that was easy. I was able to get that one out, and I don't know, I just thought the concept was cool. Not sure if we're done seeing the Ice Cream Man yet, though. But we do have some really cool. Nathan designed this super cool like logo of the ice cream truck with a cone with like blood on it. It's really cool. It's in our
or is it
shop.
Strawberry Syrup?
It could be. I have a feeling that with remains all over the place next to the truck, it's probably not Strawberry Syrup. But the other one, I think, obviously, I mean, I know it was like a love or hate type of one, but the cat lady, I just love doing that one, man. The effects were, at that point, I didn't record any of my own sound effects, and I don't still, for the most part. I think there's 1 or 2 things I've recorded throughout the whole series. I find those effects usually on Zapsplat, which is a great royalty-free audio site if you're ever interested in doing any podcasting or YouTube stuff. I just thought that the sounds were either going to make or break that episode, and I think if you took the sound effects out, people probably wouldn't have been so upset, if that makes sense. I don't know. Do you agree?
Probably. Yeah. I mean, that crunch.
Yeah.
It's pretty iconic at this point.
I know. If you're not on our Discord, we've got a little emoji. Was it that one, or no? I'm sorry, that was the liquor. It's a schlorp.
No, they're both in there.
They're both in there.
You got
okay.
You got the schlorp one and the crunch.
Yeah, so that one was fun. And then lately the most exciting one is this bonus one that's going to come out tomorrow. For me, I felt really proud of that one after it was done. So yeah, I hope you enjoy.
I think I had to pull up a list of the episodes because honestly, Even the Halloween bonus episode, I think just yesterday, it was like Jeremy told me that he finished it, and I was like, I honestly don't even remember what I wrote now, and I didn't write it that long ago. But for what episode I enjoyed the most, I feel like for me the answer is going to be a little different because Jeremy mixes a lot more of the episodes than I do. For writing, I'd say most recently probably Abandoned. I think I enjoyed the most writing because I enjoyed the kind of slow build of intensity that went into that, which I don't always do, but that was fun. For mixing for me, and this one you'll only have if you're a curator, but I really enjoyed mixing Hello Mother.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That one was, I mentioned a few times in Discord. That one was based off of a exploding head syndrome thing that woke me up. I woke up to the Hello Mother, and that whole story was based on me trying to recapture that feeling of being woken up by that. So that was really fun to mix and make that come to life.
Yeah,
That'd be my pick.
that's super cool. I know. I feel like we've done so much at this point. It's almost like we've forgotten. At least I have forgotten a lot of what we put out, except for like the main plot stuff, which I'm constantly trying to get my head around and plan ahead.
Yeah.
Well, I figured, last time we did a stream, I had this idea that I was going to be able to like play some EVPs or at least get your reaction to those, Nathan. I thought it'd be fun to do that this time. And just for anybody who's watching this that's not aware, I'm a total believer in that stuff. I try to approach things with some logic. A lot of the stuff can be discounted, any of the paranormal stuff, but I believe that some of it is true. And Nathan is our resident skeptic. Hard enough to believe on a horror podcast, but I tell you, there's in these investigations I've done though, there's something about being there in person and asking a question and hearing something play back later that has a response to it, or some voice that you didn't hear at the time. Once you kind of hear that and experience it, I feel like most people get hooked on that kind of thing. So if we ever meet in real life, Nathan, I'm going to take you out. There's a couple places locally here we could go. I'll take you out and see if we can get you to experience that for yourself. But
which I'll real quick, I'll throw out as a quick teaser. One of our projects plays on that relationship that we have a little bit, and the me being the skeptic and Jeremy being the believer. And I actually had to ask him a lot of questions because I don't know what's Hollywood ghost stuff and what's real ghost stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll even say that, how do I say this without spoiling anything? We'll just say some of my personal beliefs about some of the things we talk about are not necessarily aligning with the fiction we produced to an extent. We'll talk about it later, I guess. Maybe the next stream I'll get a little more specific into that, so people aren't going like, what the hell are they talking about? All right, let's try this. I want to try to play some EVPs I've caught on actual investigations here. I feel like, should I set these up with some kind of I don't know, like background information? I feel like maybe I should play it. We'll see if you hear anything. Okay, I'll play it, see if you hear anything. I'll talk about the clip a little bit, and we'll go from there. Okay, let's play this one. Let me know if you hear this. Okay, it's a 13-second clip.
Try to play this file real quick just to see if it's something. I can record over that.
All right. Did you hear anything that sounded off there? Probably not.
I'd say that'd be tough to say without context.
Okay. So this is a place called the Silence Mansion. It's in Pasadena. It's like a 19,000 square foot place. So with that in mind, there's a lot of tile floors, and we did our whole investigation thinking that another team could be on the opposite end of the home doing their thing and it not cross contaminate audio. So the first half of the clip, what you're hearing is another team. There's in the foreground in one room, there's me and this other guy, Craig. This guy, Craig, he's an investigator, but what he does is he's a historian too. So he'll go in, he starts his recorder, and he talks about the history of a particular place. And this place had a really fascinating history. I mean, I have the whole 8-hour audio of it if you really want that version of it. But he'll just talk about the history of it. Instead of asking questions, he finds that talking about the history and mentioning names and all that will just get spirit responses, I guess, a little more than going in and directly addressing them. So I'm going to I'll play it back. I'll tell you a couple things that we're hearing here, and I'll pause it in the meantime.
Try to play this file real quick just to see if it's
all right, that's Craig.
something.
All right, the woman in the background you're hearing is another team member, like probably 200 feet away in this gigantic house. We'll keep playing.
I can.
Did you hear that? I'm going to play it over again. Can you hear that at all? And it might be just the audio, like how it's coming through here, but I felt like it was a pretty good example.
Was it the
Yeah. We thought it was
him.
No, that's not him. So he talks right after that. I'll play that part again.
I can.
So that was not a voice that we heard at the time that we were recording. So what he was trying to do, he had his recorder off. He thought he heard something a couple minutes ago, and he was saying, I can try to play this back again. My recorder was still going, and that's when he was kind of fiddling with it. We heard that voice come through on the recorder. Again, we didn't hear that in real time, but we thought it said help, but who knows? It's kind of this like gravelly, whispery kind of voice, Play one more time. I don't know. First
Sounds
impressions.
more like he's saying ho.
Ho? He's calling me a hoe.
How it sounded to me.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to remember what this one is. This is the same investigation. Let me play this.
And the judge knew this. If he was buying land in Hancock Park, and the judge knew this. If he was buying land in Hancock Park.
Okay. So this is one of the very few clips where we are alone in the house. Craig and I are in one room. This is a different room. And we probably had an hour in the room by ourselves. So, you hear him talking. There's a male voice in the background, unaccounted for. Play it one more time.
And the judge knew this. If he was buying this. If he was buying land in Hancock Park.
So I make out the words, imagine you were, and then Craig starts talking over. There's like overlapping voices there for a moment. Were you able to hear that?
Hermit Chop suggested, let's go. for the
Let's
last
Go.
one.
Oh yeah. Okay. And see, I think that's so crazy because a lot of these are so subjective, you know. I actually did this. I did a podcast a while back called Deviatus where I interviewed people about paranormal experiences. And what I did was I put a survey out. I took 10 EVPs, I think it was 10. And I made a survey monkey and I said, what do you think these are saying? And these were all clips where I felt pretty confident I knew what was being said. And it was really disappointing to get that back. And like all of the, I think I probably had 30 people answer. Almost all of them were totally different. It's like, like you could hear something there, but it's so hard to agree on what's being said.
This one I agree with you though. That it did sound like you said. I forgot already. Whatever you said. Imagine if you were, or imagine you were, or something like that.
Yeah, let me go back to that part.
Do this. If he were, if he was.
Yeah. I excuse me. I hear imagine you were, and then it just kind of trails off. Craig's voice is so much louder there. Poison is here. Forgot about the live stream. Just remembered. Sweet. Welcome. Let's look at a different investigation here. This one, I'll give you some context first on this one, okay? This is a place called Mountain Valley Ranch in Ramona, and it is a what do you call it? It's basically a working ranch, one of the few in the area, and it was built in the 1800s. It used to be one of the stagecoach stops for the Postal Service, and it's now, it's changed ownership several times. But the people contacted us. They were having doors open. The complaints were shadow figures. They would have like tapping on the outside of their windows, which was second story windows where that was all happening, and there's really no way to access that. And then there was a lot of voices, mostly female. So we were able to catch quite a bit at this place. I'm going to give you some context before I play this first one. Whenever we set out for one of these investigations, we'll meet with the clients beforehand, right? So what I'll do is just bring my recorder. I use my phone camera, and we usually start, interviewing, asking questions to the clients. And as soon as we first walked in the door, the woman started showing my teammate around, and I was like, oh crap, let me just hurry up and put my bag down and get the recorder out. So you hear me fumbling around at the beginning with my recorder. But I'll just play the clip and I'll give you another little side story in it. Let me know what you hear.
Hallway. When we walked in. Yeah. The stairs. Let me grab these are original. Okay. Oh, this is gorgeous.
Do you mind if I snap a few photos while we're here? All right, so the part that I'm interested in is like, and this is again right when I turn the recorder on, it's broad daylight. My partner and the homeowner just start walking away, and I'm pulling out the recorder.
Okay. Hallway. When we walked in. Yeah.
So that first like 5 seconds there, hear anything weird?
What all was in the bag?
Let's see. I had a backpack. It had a little notebook. I did have a camera in there, but it wasn't. I never pulled it out, like a video camera. And then I had, I'm trying to remember. I had a water bottle. I had. By the time I started recording, though, the recorder was out of the bag. It's one of those Zoom. Here, I think I have it in here. Zoom H1
or something.
Yeah, this guy right here. So it's kind of crazy. Like it's a plastic case, So if I'm like handling it, you hear all this like scuffling sounds. Usually there's a spot on the back here for tripod mount. I'll try to put that on there and just sit it down so you don't hear any of that. Like, but if I'm carrying it around, like any little movements I make, the rubbing against the plastic makes some noises. And you do hear some of that there, but I played, this was the first thing I played. And I didn't have my headphones in, but I wasn't trying to listen for EVPs. We legitimately walked the house. We asked questions. I was going to record it and take some notes. And as soon as I push play, I hear this. And my wife's like, "Are you watching a porno?" Because you hear these sounds. I'll play it again. It sounds like.
And then you come in asking if you can snap some pictures.
Right. Here, listen again. Just the first few seconds. Doesn't that sound weird?
It's so, if I were disposed to believe in ghosts, then I would assume it's a little girl ghost. It was in that frequency, but in keeping with my brand, that can be a lot of different things. So
yeah.
A lot of different things hit that frequency.
So yeah,
As
Hermit
the
Shop
chat is noting a dog playing tug of war, a person straining way too hard to lug equipment, or sex noises.
Yeah. To me, it sounded like sex noises, but and that's what my wife thought too. She's like, "What the hell do you do?" And
just interrupting some ghosts having some fun, huh?
I guess, yeah. But what's crazy is we got a few EVPs that night with female voices too. I'll play another one in a minute. That was really cool, like super creepy. Only because it showed up on a video camera and there was nobody there. But yeah, I don't know. I just we couldn't decide whether it was like a woman having sexual noises or someone was in pain. But I definitely wasn't expecting to hear it on the initial interview, Let me find this one here. I'll give you some context on this. There are 3 of us in the master bedroom of this house. It's the same house. And there's me, there's a woman named Nicole, another investigator, and the homeowner whose name is Joyce. So 2 females, 1 male. This is going to be at it's a 7-second clip. At the very end, you're going to hear a voice that was not any of ours. So go ahead and play this. We're just setting up to record too.
I'm such a klutz. This is Nicole, Jeremy, Joyce. Oh, Jeremy, Joyce.
Did you hear that right at the end?
Joyce. Oh, Jeremy, Joyce.
That O? That was none of us in the room.
Oh, Jeremy, Joyce.
Now you can hear that, right?
Yeah, and again, I had assumed that was her because it sounds like the same type of voice
as the person who's speaking.
Yeah, that was my assumption when I heard it the first time.
Okay, like I can confirm that was not her. We had 2 recorders going. She was holding one, and I had mine going. It came out louder on mine than it did on hers. So to me, that tells me it was a little closer to my recorder. And I think she had the same recorder. Let me play one more time.
Joyce. Oh, Jeremy, Joyce.
It's just a very quick one, And what we did was like right in the moment, we recorded for maybe 5 minutes, and then we went back and listened to it right there, and we all identified it, talked about it at the same time. Was that you? Was that you? No. None of the girls remembered saying that at all. Anyway, I thought that was a good catch, knowing that it wasn't one of them. But here's one that's super cool. To me, it's a little undeniable that something was caught.
Of course, you would say that.
Well, and I have the video. I have the video of this, right? So what I did was I've got one of those Gorilla Grip tripods. I put one of these full spectrum action cameras on the Gorilla Grip tripod, and I fastened it to the top of the stairs. There's a metal or a wood railing there pointing down the stairs because the stairs are wooden. It's old wood. They're, it sounds like somebody was, and this is a common report that they said, it sounds like somebody was walking up the stairs or down the stairs. And we didn't catch anything on the video, but the audio of it we caught singing, and you can hear footsteps on the stairs too. In the video there's nobody there, but let me play this one. And the volume's really loud on this because it's kind of shitty. It's got the action cam audio. Those microphones aren't great. Let me just lower the volume.
I'm such a clock.
Oh, that's the same one. Sorry, I thought I changed the file. Lower that volume. Here we go. Do you hear singing? Hear my dog?
Thought there was a dog in the recording. Ghost
Here,
dog.
I'll play it again. There's just a lot of background static, or it's not a great recorder. It's just that little tiny. I think the action cam's like a $25 Chinese action cam. I didn't want to spend more money on it and mess with the lens, so. But here, I'll play it again. So to me, it sounds like you can hear footsteps going away from the camera and then a woman humming or singing, But again, this camera was at the top of the stairs pointed down. There were people in the kitchen at that time, which is a tile floor, but it's pretty far removed from the, what do you call it? The stairwell. And I don't think that mic is strong enough to pick up stuff in the kitchen. To me, this would have to be a little closer to the camera. I don't know. What do you think?
How old's the house, roughly?
It was built in, I think it was 1870 something. It's old. They've done a lot of work to they didn't remodel, but they refurbished it. They wanted to keep the original construction. Stairs are old wood. I think what's crazy is to me it sounds like really hard soled shoes. And if you were gonna say, the argument was that maybe it was somebody that was there, we just had tennis shoes on.
Can you play it one more time?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I didn't really register those as footsteps. It's just like two of anything that could click or bang isn't the right word, but
Yeah. Hermit Chop says, it sounds like my wife singing while chopping vegetables in the kitchen. Do you have a recorder in my house?
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe ghosts aren't real, but in certain places there's portals to your kitchen. So we're just picking up audio of.
Yeah. Anyway, I thought it was cool.
I only heard two.
Here, let's play one more time. So I could hear 4 on my end. It's possible that, again, the quality going to you through StreamYard may not be as great. I can send you the clips for these though if you want. I've got them on Dropbox.
I mean, Hermit Chop heard apparently 4 with a faint 5th, so I guess that's just me who only heard 2.
It's the skeptic.
Actually, I would be interested. You can send that to me. I'd like to try to repair the audio and cut out some of that crap.
Yeah, absolutely. Although I will say there's within the paranormal investigator world, I haven't
imagine they don't like to clean up the audio.
They don't. And the reason
Yeah.
for that is, sometimes when you make manipulations, you remove some of the raw data, which could make it sound a little different. It could misrepresent.
Yeah. I get the premise and not wanting to. I'm just curious, mainly about the voice and how that would sound if I could cut out the static.
Sure. Yeah.
For any, obviously I'm not a paranormal investigator, so I can, cheat.
No, that works. I'm open to anybody putting these to scrutiny. And I think that's what a lot of people should do, because, I think a skeptical approach is healthy for this kind of stuff. Let me play something else for you. Let me find it real quick. Have you ever... Oh, definitely sounded like some melody in the voice there. Yeah, I agree, Hermit Chop. Have you ever heard the Spirit Box? I mean, I don't know if you've watched any of the shows.
Nope. I watched that one St. Augustine episode of...
Oh yeah, because I linked it to
you. Yeah. But that's the only paranormal show I've watched, I think. No, there was another one, but I thought it was terrible, so.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find the clip. So there's a couple clips here. So I have one of these, right? It's called the SB7 Spirit Box. What it does is it cycles through radio frequencies, and you can set the interval times. Typically, I'll use 200 milliseconds or 250 milliseconds. So every 1/4 or 1/5 of a second on those settings, it cycles through a radio station. So that means 5 cycles per second, right? So if you're in a populated area, of course you're gonna hear words. Chances of you hearing full sentences are very little. If you think, like, every time you hear a psh, 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 in one of these things, it's cycling through a different station. So the idea is, you can't, if you hear something more than one syllable, it's supposed to be, in quote, air quotes, a spirit communicating with you. I typically discount these because there's so much bias with them. And there's things you can do to remove that bias. I can talk about that in a minute. But I did save a few clips where I thought it was a little better than anything else anyone heard, And so what I'm looking for is something that sounds like the same voice spanning multiple cycles or multiple syllables. Technically that shouldn't happen if it's skipping radio stations, different channels that quickly. Does that make sense? Let's see. Let me play this one.
You're a Christian. Yes, I'm a Christian. Are you a Christian?
So that's me and Nicole.
It's like it's beatboxing.
Yeah, so it's hearing like every time you hear like that beat, it's changing channels. But we thought it said, "So you're a Christian," when we played it back. I'll play it again. Now, to me, like, I think it could be argued what's being said, but does it sound like the same voice to you going through those?
For the 3-ish words?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So I want to play it again, just kind of do a little time test here. So it's a little over 1 second that you hear those those words. And I don't know, to me, that's a kind of a cool one because that shouldn't happen, you know?
Because that's what, four to
five different cycles. Yeah. Depending on the settings. And, you know, typically when we set those up, I'll have a recorder next to it and I'll kind of tag it and say we're at these settings right before we start. I just saved that clip, so I don't know exactly which one that is, but which setting, but it sounds like at least 4 per second. Let me find this other one too. I feel like it was in the same file. Yeah, here we go. This one's cool because I feel like it says something. And like what we try to do in real time is like if we hear it saying something, we'll respond and hope to get additional responses. So that's kind of what you hear happening on this clip. I'll play this guy.
Don't go in that room.
Don't go in the room, yeah?
What room do you know us to go into? The one over in the Mason.
All right, so couple ones we're looking at. Let me start it again here. Just find the spot. So I feel like that one might have said don't go in the room or don't go in that room. Can we play it again? It's super hard to make out.
Yeah.
So then Nicole first reacts, says, don't go in the room. And I kind of confirm it. She spoke before I could. And then she says, like, which one? And then I think it says the one over on that end or something like that. Herman says it called you cubby. Here, let me find the next part. So don't go in the room.
Don't go in that room.
Don't go in the room, yeah?
What room do you know us to go into?
So right, the one on this end, I think.
Two. One, two. The one, two. The one.
So yeah, personally, like I think that's one of the better clips, and that shows you how much, I guess, faith I have in this device. It does. I'll admit, to me, it sounds like it's the same voice spanning multiple changes, and then in that case, in that situation, we heard it twice. I felt like the first portion and the one I just played are the same voice, but what it says, I don't know how people listen to that stuff in real time and make out what they say unless it's like super clear in real time, because the recording
that second one, honestly, I couldn't make any. It just sounded like gibberish to me.
Yeah Okay. And there's a way to make this have less bias, and typically what we'll do is and they're starting to do this on all the shows now, but we were doing this for years. You can plug the spirit box into headphones where nobody in the room can hear it except whoever's wearing the headphones. And what we've done is we will have one person listening to the box through the headphones. We put a blindfold on, sit them in a room, and we'll have different people, maybe at the other end of the room or even in an adjacent room or somewhere else in a house, start asking questions. And you sync your recorders, so that you're one person wearing the headphones is recording and the person asking the questions are recording. You come back later and kind of listen to the clips, and you get the timing right, So that's a way to remove bias, to where the person wearing headphones can't hear the questions being asked, but they're vocally speaking any words that they hear coming through the box. So we've done that a few times. I've only really, gotten an occasion where I want to say like we've gotten intelligent responses like twice, but we do it all the time. Those are a little more appealing to me. if you're going to approach it from the skeptical route. But I don't know. We're over time, sir. Should we do one more, or do you want to call it? Trying to look for one more. Well, let me get your thoughts.
Maybe,
what are your thoughts?
how many frequencies is that cycling through in total? Do you know?
I know you can set it to AM or FM, and it'll just go the span of whatever's available. So it depends on where you're at, what stations are being picked up, but often, like I've only used it really out away from civilization a couple times, and it'll still go through a bunch of them, but it's just static. You don't really hear like radio noises like you normally would if you're in the city, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest. There's a couple thoughts there. I guess this would be more affordable than having 20 or so mics that cycle through a handful of signals. But my other thought is especially in areas without as many radio stations and areas that I've been, when cycling through, I've been able to pick up the same radio signal on multiple stations on occasion in more rural areas.
Okay.
So I feel like it still may not be the best measure there.
Yeah. It's not my favorite just because it's very subjective to the listener, you know? Just like the survey was, even for what I thought were clear EVPs. I think it's the actually like being there, because I've recorded alone too. I went to this town in Julian, and we found we were investigating this like hotel, and we didn't realize it, but adjacent to the hotel was a graveyard. So while one of the other teams was in there, and this is one of my first investigations I did, I just walked out into the into the graveyard, middle of the night. You know, it's like 1 a.m. Not a person there. The wind wasn't even blowing, and I just started asking questions, and I got one response in like maybe 20 minutes when I was there, and it was just a whisper that I couldn't even make out. But being able to tell that it was a whisper was like, I don't know, it kind of stuck with me. Just knowing nobody's there, there's no way to contaminate that. I don't know. I guess you got to experience that. And
I know there's things that could convince me. I have no idea what they would be though.
Yeah.
Either way, I definitely have fun with taking me on a little ghost tour.
Yeah, if you ever come to San Diego, we'll get you out in some of these places. There's some really cool spots out here, and it's, even if you don't experience anything paranormal, they're cool places to see. And yeah, we'll go have some fun. I'll try to remain skeptical as I'm showing you around. But should we call it? I think we've gone over a little bit. Hermit Chop says it called me Cubby, so maybe we should end on that note.
That part I didn't even I can't say I heard, but
I didn't hear that one either. But
that's a good spot to end.
Yeah, so I imagine there's going to be more people listening to this on the replay. But if you do watch this, make sure to check the feeds, all the feeds throughout the week preceding Halloween. We've got a ton of stuff. We're very excited about all of it and all the partnerships we've made and all the collaborations we've done. Thank you, Nathan, for all the hard work that you've put in over the last couple months on all this stuff. And yeah, I'm excited to listen to it back, because I feel like some of it was done a little while ago, and my memory is getting a little fuzzy on what we actually submitted for these collaborations. But anyway, you have a great day. I'll talk to you later, I guess.
Bye, everyone.
Take care, folks.